In April of 2010, I noticed my first tremor. It was right after, but right after I had my daughter. And when I say right before or after, it was like a 2-week span of having her. And I was filling a pot of coffee with my left arm, holding the pot. And as the water grew in the pot, my hand started shaking for the first time. When I was first diagnosed, I quickly, as most people do, I became an expert at all that was Parkinson's. On January 4th, now 4 days after I got diagnosed, I started a blog called Lit Within. And it was about my journey, but it was taken from the perspective of, this is my journey, but as I'm going through this time, I'm going to try and light people within. When I saw Dr. Jankovic for the first time, and the very first thing that he said was, start exercising. Exercise is the only thing proven to slow the progression. So that was something that I could control. Going to my daughter's elementary, her outdoor playground, practicing on the monkey bars, and doing some pull-ups at the gym at 37 years old with a movement disorder. Never, ever being able to do anything like that before. Not being an adult athlete, going from 7 minutes at a gym to competing in this mud run. And I had little angels on social media seeing videos of that going, you look like an American Ninja Warrior. So I applied, gave them my story, and the next thing I know, I got a call to compete on American Ninja Warrior.
I noticed it first, the tremor I was having, while my son was being born, and I'm filming in the room. So growing up, I had a lot of symptoms that I now know are directly related to Parkinson's.
That's when 1,100 miles away, 5 months after a divorce, Steven bought property on Allison Street to build a home for his 2 kids and his dog named Allie.
I got a text from a friend. He said, have you ever looked at dating sites or social sites for people with Parkinson's? And I looked at the thumbnail that he sent, like he sent me an article that she had written. I saw this thumbnail with her picture on it, and I said, I've never looked into those sites, but by the looks of this girl in the picture, I may be interested. So I clicked on it and started reading her blog. I actually watched a video of hers that she had made in April of 2020, 4 months earlier. And I saw some things about her, and there were things she was saying that reverberated with me, and I just felt drawn to her.
So he reads the blog post, and then he starts cyber-stalking me. And he will argue to the day he dies that he wasn't cyber-stalking me, but he looked up a lot of information about me. And there were just things that I would say that really, kind of triggered things in his heart. We met October 9th of 2020, and we met, and it was just love at first sight. October 8th, 2022, 2 years later, from the day we actually met in person, we got married. Steven and I just got together when Dr. Jankovic said, okay, I think you're ready for DBS. Through what he told me and then doing my own research, I knew that deep brain stimulation would be the next step.
Deep brain stimulation is a neurosurgical procedure. We implant tiny little electrodes into the part of the brain that is affected in Parkinson's disease and other movement disorders. We then stimulate that part of the brain with a high-frequency stimulus that is generated by this pacemaker-type device, which is implanted under the skin in upper chest. The purpose of deep brain stimulation, or DBS, is to improve the quality of life of patients with Parkinson and other movement disorders. When I first met Allison, I think it was in 2015, she just started to have symptoms of Parkinson manifested by left-hand tremor. Over the years, the symptoms progressed. She began to develop other problems, including problems with her gait and balance, and we had to adjust her medications to the point where she had to take medications almost every 2 or 3 hours. Parkinson's disease can start at any age. It can even start in children or young adults. Allison has a classic example of young onset Parkinson patient, someone who actually responds well to medications but develops complications from medications early on. So over the decades of my practice, I have encountered a number of couples with Parkinson's disease, develop the symptoms during the course of their marriage, irrespective of each other. What is unique about Allison and Steven is that Parkinson actually brought them together.
And so then we met with Dr. Sheth, and it was important for me to have it done together. And he was willing to have both surgeries done on the same day, in the same hospital, same team, and it ended up being in the same OR because he is so incredible at what he does.
She knew about deep brain stimulation surgery from the neurology team that had been helping her, Dr. Jankovic and many others. We had communicated over email, and then she underwent the thorough evaluation by the movement disorder team before we actually met in person. The first meeting was with her and Steven together in the clinic, and we spent quite a while, of course, discussing their symptoms and discussing the story, but they were ready for it, and it was really a pleasure kind of understanding how they imagined their lives afterwards in terms of the things that they hoped and dreamed they'd be able to achieve. Here at Baylor, we are very experienced in identifying patients, performing the procedure, and then taking care of them afterwards. And this is a consequence really of decades of experience with deep brain stimulation surgery and its predecessors with excellent neurology, neuropsychology, radiology, and neurosurgery. And it really takes a multidisciplinary team to be able to identify the patients that are going to do well, to do the surgery in a safe manner. Again, this is quality of life improving surgery. The risk profile has to be very low.
From the first time that I started looking up what is Parkinson's, what is the treatment, what are the possibilities, what is the long-term prognosis, how do you die from Parkinson's? I mean, it gets morbid and you become obsessed. Well, I have a young daughter, she's now 13. I want to be there. I want to see her kids. I want to see her blossom into this beautiful child of God that I know that she's called to be.
So my faith actually played a big part in our getting together. And I would not be here if Allison hadn't come into my life.
And I find my soulmate, somebody that I connect with and am more open than I've ever been with anyone in my entire life, including family and friends. And yet, he was 1,100 miles away, and how were we supposed to meet? And the way we met, through internet during a pandemic? How is it even possible? One way or another, it happened exactly the way it was supposed to, at the exact right time, to put us in the place where we are right now. And he's setting us up for what is to come next. And what that is, I have no idea, but I'm excited to see.